On an early autumn morning, the park was quiet and calm. The sun was rising with a soft golden light that touched the fallen leaves on the ground. Adam Porter sat alone on a long wooden bench near the path. He held a warm cup of coffee in his hands and watched the slow movement of people passing by. His eyes looked tired. His shoulders were slightly bent. Anyone who looked closely could see he was a man carrying a heavy heart. He tried to breathe in the cool air, hoping it would clear the thoughts that chased him every day. Adam was a man who once had dreams, but life had pushed him into a place where those dreams felt far away. He had made choices that he wished he could change. He often wondered if he had missed the right moments to fix things. The park was the only place where he felt he could sit still and think without pressure. As Adam sat there, he did not expect anything unusual to happen. He did not expect anyone to notice him, but life had a quiet way of surprising him. While he watched a small group of joggers pass by, he saw a movement from the corner of his eye. A tiny blonde girl with bright eyes was walking toward him. She wore a denim dress and mismatched shoes. One shoe was pink and the other was gray. She carried a small brown paper bag in her hand. Adam blinked and looked around to see if she was searching for someone else. But she stopped right in front of him. Her expression was warm and full of trust. She looked up at him without fear. The girl said hello in a clear and gentle voice. Adam was surprised. He greeted her back, unsure why a child was standing so confidently in front of a stranger. The girl held the paper bag tightly with both hands as if it was important. She introduced herself as Lila. Her voice had a soft excitement in it, the kind only children have when they believe everything in the world is good and safe. Adam asked her where her parents were. Lila pointed toward a distant part of the park, but Adam could not see anyone from where he sat. Before he could ask more, Lila spoke again. She told him that her mother was sick and needed rest at home. She said it in such a simple way that Adam felt a sudden wave of sadness touch his heart. Children had a way of telling the truth without fear or confusion. Then Lila said something that made Adam feel completely still inside. She said Mommy was sick, but she would still smile if he came to her party. Her words reached deep inside Adam. It felt as if she had opened a door he had locked long ago. Adam looked at Lila with gentle confusion. He asked why she wanted him at her party. Lila responded with a small smile. She said he looked like someone who needed to smile too. The honesty in her voice was warm and disarming. Adam did not know how to respond. He felt a strange connection that he could not explain. It was as if this small child had stepped into his quiet morning with a message meant only for him. Lila continued to stand there, waiting for him to say something. Her eyes were bright, and her smile held a kindness he had not felt in a long time. Adam finally asked when her party was. Lila told him it was very soon, and that she had been inviting people who made her feel safe. She looked up at him again with full trust. Adam felt something shift inside him. It was not a feeling he was used to. It was a feeling that reminded him of hope. He slowly stood from the bench. Lila took a small step back, but kept smiling. Adam said he would walk with her to find her mother, or anyone who stayed with her. Lila nodded and took a gentle step forward, as if she was used to leading adults with ease. They began to walk down the path together. The autumn leaves crunched beneath their feet. Adam watched Lila swing the small paper bag back and forth. She told him the bag had small decorations she made for her birthday. Adam listened quietly as she talked about her home and her mother and her wish to make her mother smile again. As they walked, Adam felt the strange connection grow stronger. There was something about Lila that reached the quiet places inside him. It felt like a soft thread pulling him towards something new. For the first time in a long while, Adam felt he was part of a moment that mattered. And he did not know it yet, but meeting Lila on that quiet morning would change the path of his life forever. The walk through the park was slow and calm. Adam stayed a few steps behind Lila as she moved forward with the carefree confidence of a child who believed the world was kind. The leaves on the ground made soft sounds under their feet. A light wind passed through the trees and moved Lila's hair as she skipped along the path. Adam watched her closely, making sure she stayed safe. He did not understand why he felt responsible for her, but the feeling grew stronger with every step. Lila talked about simple things as they walked. She spoke about her favorite toys and the cookies she liked to eat, and the drawings she made for her birthday party. Adam listened with quiet attention. Her voice was bright and gentle, and it felt like it carried a small light inside it. He had not felt that kind of warmth in a long time. Every word she said made the heaviness in his chest feel a little lighter. After a while, Adam asked Leela more about her mother. Leela slowed her steps and held the paper bag close to her chest. She said her mother needed rest most days because she felt weak often. Leela said she tried to help her mother by keeping her room tidy and making little gifts that could make her smile. As she spoke, Adam noticed how strong and caring she was for her age. He felt both sadness and admiration rise within him. Lila said she believed her mother would smile more if good people came to her party. She said she wanted her mother to feel happy because she worked hard even when she was sick. Adam felt a sting in his heart when she said this. He understood what it meant to want to help someone you love, but not know how to fix what was hurting them. They reached the edge of the park where the houses stood in neat rows. Lila slowed down and looked back at Adam, as if checking that he was still with her. Adam gave a small nod, and she continued forward. She led him to a small street where the trees lined both sides of the road. The houses were simple but warm in appearance. Leela stopped in front of a pale blue house with a white porch. She pointed at the house and said this was her home. Adam looked at it quietly. There was a soft charm to the house. It looked peaceful, but he sensed a quiet struggle behind the walls. Leela walked up the small path, and Adam followed slowly. When they reached the door, Leela knocked and waited. The door opened and a woman stood there. She looked tired but gentle. Her long hair was tied loosely, and her eyes carried a softness that made Adam feel at ease. Lila greeted her mother with joy. She told her that she brought a visitor. Grace, the mother, looked at Adam with calm curiosity. Adam greeted her politely and explained that Leela had come to him in the park, and he wanted to make sure she returned home safely. Grace thanked him with a warm but weary smile. She invited him inside for a moment. Adam stepped into the house feeling slightly unsure, but also drawn by a quiet sense of comfort. The living room was small and simple. Children's drawings filled one wall. A small couch and a few chairs were arranged neatly. Space felt lived in and loved. Lila placed her paper bag on the table and began showing her mother the decorations she had made. Grace watched her with pride and affection. Adam stood quietly, observing their bond. It reminded him of something he had lost long ago. Grace then turned to Adam and thanked him again for bringing Lila home. She asked him if he would like some water or tea. Adam politely declined but stayed near the doorway. Grace asked how he met Leela. Adam explained their meeting in the park and mentioned her invitation to the birthday party. Grace laughed softly and said Leela had been inviting many people because she believed the party would make everything feel better. Adam nodded and felt a gentle pull in his chest. As they talked, Adam noticed how Grace struggled to stay steady while standing. He saw her press one hand lightly against the table for support. Lila noticed too and quickly moved to hold her mother's arm. Grace thanked her quietly. Adam watched this moment and felt a deep respect for the strength Grace held despite her condition. Before leaving, Adam told Lila he was glad to meet her. Lila smiled brightly and reminded him again about her party. Adam said he would try to come. Grace gave him a warm nod that carried more emotion than words could show. As Adam stepped out of the house and walked back toward the park, he felt something shifting inside him. The encounter had stirred feelings he had kept quiet for years. There was a sense of purpose forming in his heart. He did not understand it fully yet, but he knew meeting Lila and Grace had brought something important into his life. And as he walked down the quiet street, he felt a small hint of hope begin to grow inside him. Adam returned to the park the next day with a quiet hope he tried to hide from himself. He sat on the same bench where he had first met Lila. The morning air was cool and gentle. People walked by with their dogs and children, but he kept his eyes on the path where Lila had appeared before. He did not know if she would come. He did not know if he should expect anything. Still he waited. After some time he heard light footsteps coming from behind him. When he turned, he saw Lila walking toward him with the same bright energy. She carried a small backpack this time, and her hair was tied with a simple ribbon. Adam felt a warm feeling in his chest when she waved at him. Leela climbed onto the bench beside him with no hesitation. She told him she had been looking for him. Adam smiled softly and asked how her mother was feeling today. Leela said her mother was tired, but she had managed to eat breakfast, which made her happy. Leela opened her backpack and took out a small drawing she made. It showed a house and 3 figures standing together. Adam asked who they were. Leela said it was her mother and herself and a new friend. She pointed to the tallest figure and said it was him. Adam felt a lump in his throat. He looked at the drawing and tried to speak, but the words did not come easily. Lila seemed pleased with his reaction. She swung her legs while sitting and told him she wanted to show him more drawings, but she needed to take them home first. Adam nodded and followed her when she asked him to walk with her again. As they walked through the park, Lila told Adam about her mother. She spoke with simple honesty. She said her mother tried to be strong, but some days were harder than others. Adam listened with care, understood that Lila carried more responsibility in her small hands than most children her age. He admired her gentle courage and wondered how she managed to stay so bright. When they reached the blue house again, Grace was sitting on the porch. She looked up as they approached. Her smile was warm but tired. Adam greeted her and she invited him to sit for a moment. Lila ran inside to get her drawings. Grace watched her with a soft expression and then turned to Adam. Grace asked Adam how long he had lived in the area. He told her he had moved there a few months ago and was still trying to settle into a stable routine. Grace nodded, as if she understood more than he was saying. She asked him if he often visited the park. Adam said he did because it was the only place where he felt his mind could slow down. Grace seemed to study him for a moment. She said she was thankful that he had taken the time to watch over Lila and bring her home safely. Adam said Lila was a remarkable child. Grace agreed and said Lila had a strong heart. She said she hoped her daughter would always keep that light inside her. Lila soon returned with more drawings. She spread them on the porch floor and explained each one with excitement. Adam listened patiently. Grace watched the two of them with quiet interest. There was a calmness in the air that made Adam feel at home in a way he had not felt in years. Grace tried to stand, but Adam noticed her move slowly. He stepped closer to offer support. Grace thanked him and rested her hand on the porch railing. Adam could see the effort it took for her to stay steady, felt concern rise within him. Grace noticed his worried expression and assured him she would be fine. She said she had good days and bad days, and she had learned to manage both. Lila tugged at Adam's hand and asked if he wanted to stay for lunch. Grace hesitated, but Adam said he did not want to trouble them. Lila insisted with her bright smile. Grace nodded and said he was welcome to stay if he wished. Adam agreed and felt a warmth fill his chest. Inside the house, Lila showed Adam her favorite books and toys. She talked about her school and the friends she had. Adam listened as she moved around the room with lively energy. Grace prepared a simple lunch, and they all sat at the table. The meal was quiet but peaceful. Adam felt a strange but comforting sense of belonging. After lunch, Adam helped Grace clean up. She moved slowly, and he handed her the lighter items so she did not strain herself. Lila finished her food and talked about her upcoming birthday again. She told Adam she wanted him to come because she believed he would make the day special. Grace looked at Adam with gentle gratitude. She said Lila had not been this excited in a long time. Adam felt touched by her words. He told them he would try his best to attend. Before leaving, Adam thanked Grace for the meal. Lila followed him to the door and waved. Adam walked down the street feeling a quiet sense of peace. He realized he was beginning to care for both of them more deeply than he expected. Could not explain the feeling clearly, but he knew one thing. His life was changing, and the small blue house and the people inside it were becoming important to him in a way he had never imagined. The morning of Lila's birthday arrived with clear skies and a gentle light that filled the neighborhood. Adam woke earlier than usual. He sat on the edge of his bed and looked at the small drawing Lila had given him days before. The picture of the three figures made him feel something warm inside his chest. He had not felt that kind of warmth in many years. He decided he would bring a small gift to the party. Did not have much, but he wanted to bring something that would make Lila smile. After some thought, he chose a small music box he had kept for a long time. It played a soft tune when opened. He hoped Lila would like it. Adam walked to the blue house with slow, steady steps. As he approached, he heard laughter coming from inside. Felt a strange mix of excitement and nervousness. He had not been to a child's birthday party in many years. When he reached the porch, he saw balloons tied to the railing and handmade decorations hanging near the door. He could tell Lila had worked hard to prepare them. Grace opened the door when Adam knocked. She greeted him with a warm smile, though her face looked tired. She thanked him for coming and invited him inside. The living room was filled with simple decorations made from paper and yarn. There were a few neighbors and children sitting around the room. The air felt light and cheerful. Lila ran toward Adam with a bright smile. She wore a blue dress with a small bow in her hair. She grabbed his hand and pulled him inside with excitement. She thanked him for coming and told him she had been waiting for him. Adam felt moved by her joy. He took the music box from his pocket and handed it to her. Lila opened it carefully, and when the tune began to play, she smiled in wonder. She said it was the most beautiful gift she had ever received. Adam felt his heart grow warm. As the guests settled and Grace prepared refreshments with slow, careful movements. Adam noticed her growing tired and stepped forward to help. She accepted his help with a grateful look. Together they arranged cups and plates on the small table. The children gathered around and began eating cake slices and small snacks. The room filled with cheerful voices and quiet laughter. Lila asked Adam to sit near her while she opened the rest of her gifts. Adam sat beside her and watched as she unwrapped small toys and handmade cards. Her joy was bright and pure. Every time she looked at her mother, she smiled proudly as if she wanted Grace to feel happy through her excitement. Grace watched from a nearby chair with her hands resting on her lap. Her smile was gentle and full of love. After the gifts, Lila wanted to play a small game with the children. Adam helped set it up. It was a simple game with colored cups and small toys. The children enjoyed it and laughed freely. Adam felt himself relax as he watched them. He had forgotten how peaceful it felt to be around simple happiness. Grace sat quietly on the couch watching everything. At times her breathing looked slow and strained. Adam noticed it, but she brushed it off with a soft smile when their eyes met. He understood she did not want the children to worry. Still, he wished he could help her more. When it was time for the cake, Lila stood proudly next to Grace. Adam helped light the candles. Everyone gathered around the small table. Grace placed a steadying hand on Lila's shoulder. The candles flickered softly. Lila closed her eyes and made a silent wish. Then she opened her eyes and blew out the candles with one strong breath. The children clapped and cheered. Grace smiled wider than she had in a long time. Adam saw her eyes shine with emotion. It was clear that this moment meant everything to her. Lila hugged her mother and then turned to Adam and hugged him too. Adam felt a gentle ache inside his heart as he hugged her back. After the cake, Adam helped clean up while the children played with their new toys. Grace thanked him again for being there. She told him that his kindness had made the day easier and brighter. Adam said he was glad to help and happy to see Lila smiling so much. As the party slowed down, Grace sat back on the couch looking tired. Adam knelt beside her and asked if she needed anything. She said she only needed rest. Adam felt deep concern. He wished he could do more. Grace rested her hand lightly on his and said that his presence had helped her more than he realized. Her voice was soft, but sincere. When the last guests left, the house felt peaceful and warm. Lila sat on the floor playing with her new music box. Grace leaned back against the couch with her eyes half closed. Adam stood near the doorway watching them. He felt a strong sense of belonging, as if he had stepped into a part of life he had been missing. As the afternoon light slowly faded, Adam told them he would visit again soon. Lila looked up with bright eyes and said she would be waiting. Grace gave him a gentle smile filled with quiet gratitude. Adam stepped out of the house and walked down the street with a heart that felt full and alive. He knew something had changed inside him, and he was no longer the same man who once sat alone on the park bench. The connection he felt with Grace and Lila was growing stronger, and he hoped it would guide him to a better place in his life. Adam returned to his small apartment after the birthday party feeling different from the man he had been for many years. The quiet walls of his home felt less heavy. He sat on the edge of his bed and thought about Lila's laughter and Grace's tired but warm smile. Something inside him had begun to heal. He could feel it in the way he breathed, in the way he looked at the world. The loneliness that had followed him for so long seemed to be easing. The next morning, Adam walked to the park with slow, careful steps. He hoped to see Lila and Grace again. He did not know if they would be outside, but he felt drawn to the place where he first met them. When he reached the bench, he sat down and waited. The sun rose higher in the sky, and the park slowly filled with people. After some time, he heard a soft voice call his name. He turned and saw Lila running toward him with her usual bright energy. She carried the music box he had given her. Adam stood and greeted her with a smile. Lila took his hand and said her mother wanted to see him. Adam felt a gentle worry rise in his chest, but he followed her with steady steps. When they reached the blue house, Grace was sitting on the porch wrapped in a light blanket. She looked weaker than she had before, but her smile remained warm. Adam walked up the steps and greeted her politely. Grace thanked him again for coming to the birthday party. She said it had meant more to her than she could express. Adam sat beside her while Lila played in the yard with her toys. Grace spoke in a quiet voice. She told him her illness had been getting harder to manage. She said she tried to stay strong for Lila, but there were days when even simple tasks became difficult. Adam listened with full attention. He felt a deep concern for her and wished he had the power to make her well. Grace then told Adam something that touched him deeply. She said that since he had entered their lives, Lila had been happier and more hopeful. She said her daughter talked about him often and believed he was a good man. Adam felt a tightness form in his chest. He had not been called a good man in a long time. Hearing those words from Grace felt like a small light entering his heart. As they sat together, Grace told Adam more about her life. She spoke about the years before her illness and the dreams she once had. Now she told him how she wanted Lila to grow up in a world where kindness mattered. Adam listened and felt a closeness forming between them. He felt as if their lives were slowly weaving together like threads. Lila soon returned to the porch and climbed onto her mother's lap. Grace stroked her daughter's hair with gentle care. Lila held the music box and asked Adam to sit closer. Adam moved to sit beside them. Lila opened the music box and the soft tune began to play. The gentle sound filled the quiet space around them. Grace closed her eyes for a moment, as if taking in the peace of the moment. After a while, Grace tried to stand, but her legs shook slightly. Adam quickly supported her. She placed her hand on his arm for balance. He helped her inside the house and guided her to the couch. She thanked him in a faint voice. Adam stayed near her until she felt steadier. Lila sat next to her mother and leaned against her. Adam stood by the window watching them quietly. He felt a deep understanding settle inside him. He realized he cared for them in a way he had not expected. They had become important to him. They had opened something gentle and strong inside him. Grace looked at Adam and told him she was glad he had come into their lives. She said she hoped he would stay part of their future. Adam felt an emotional weight inside him lifting. He told her he would visit as often as he could. He wanted to help her and be there for Lila. Lila smiled at his words and held the music box close. She said she felt safe when he was around. Adam felt tears gather in his eyes, but he blinked them away. He knelt down beside them and promised that he would always show up when they needed him. The rest of the afternoon passed calmly. Adam helped Grace eat a small meal and kept Lila company while she played. As the sun began to set, the house felt warm and peaceful. Adam stood by the door, ready to leave. Grace thanked him with a gentle look that carried deep meaning. Lila hugged him tightly before he stepped outside. As Adam walked down the street, he felt something new in his life. He no longer felt like a man drifting through days. He felt connected. He felt responsible. He felt hopeful. The bond he shared with Grace and Lila was strong. It felt like a thread pulling him toward a better future. Adam knew he would continue to visit them. He knew he would help Grace whenever she needed support. He knew he would watch over Lila as she grew. The quiet blue house had become a place that felt like home. And in that feeling, Adam found something he had lost long ago. He found purpose in the beginning of a new life filled with care, warmth, and hope.